Good afternoon. Rochester Mayor Lovely Warren is standing strong today after a whirlwind last 24 hours. Warren's home was searched by state police last night, which resulted in the arrest of her husband, Timothy Granison. Granison, one of 7 people arrested so far as part of an alleged mid-level drug ring in Rochester. The mayor has not been charged, but DA Sandra Dorley says the investigation is ongoing. We have team coverage on this developing story. Allie Peters has the details on the arraignment this morning. Kayla Green was at the news conference with law enforcement and has details on the investigation. But first, we begin with Christian Garzone, who spoke with the mayor just moments ago. Christian, what does she have to say about all this?
Well, John, the mayor gave a prepared statement and quickly exited behind a door. She did not take any questions on this matter, but she says right now we all have to question the why in this when it comes to the timing. She says she is separated from her husband and has not spoken to him since the arrest. She says she is feeling anger, betrayal, and hurt. She says this year has been hard for her losing her mother from COVID, but this year, she says, has been full of big proposals like fully funding the PAB and big reforms when it comes to things like the police department. She says the timing of all this is suspect and feels this could be a case of politics. She says she has done nothing wrong and is suggesting the district attorney made some kind of deal to smear her family's name.
I find the timing of yesterday's events, 3 weeks before early voting starts, to be highly suspicious. Let's ask ourselves why. At the exact time that the police were knocking at my door, the New York Times, all the way from Manhattan, was sending me an email asking me about this. Finally, we need to ask ourselves, if this is not about politics, why is Tim's next court date June 21st? The day before primary day? Now that's quite the coincidence. Now when you figure out those answers to those questions, come find me, because I'll be working.
Now, Warren says she's always turned to God in matters like this, and faith has always brought her through. And you heard the mayor say it there, primary day in the mayor's race is on June 22nd. At City Hall, Christian Garzone, News 8. John, back to you.
All right, Christian, thank you. Officials say the investigation is not politically motivated. Kayla Green joins us from the DA's office in Rochester with more from law enforcement.
John, District Attorney Sandra Dorley says this investigation is very significant and says these 7 arrests could just be the beginning. She says they searched 7 homes and some cars yesterday, and there still are more being searched as we speak now. Now, she says they have secured 2 kilos of powder and crack cocaine with a total street value of $60,000, 3 firearms, a semi-automatic rifle, and $100,000 in cash. She says they stopped Warren's husband, Timothy Granison, in a car yesterday in relation to his involvement with the narcotics ring. She says they found cocaine and an unregistered firearm in Granison's home. Dorley says the mayor is still living there, but wasn't home at the time of the search. Her daughter, though, was home, and police say they allowed Granison to call her out and explain what was happening and arranged for a family member to pick her up. Dorley says one of the 7 homes searched yesterday was Granison's brother's, and also mentions there's a relationship between Warren and 2 of the others who were charged. She says this investigation is not politically motivated. Dorley says about 3 months in, Granison became a target, so the DA's office stopped working with the RPD and called in the New York State Police to eliminate any conflict of interest.
Timothy Granison was not the original target of this wire investigation. Approximately 7 months I met with members of law enforcement. We had a target. We began to go up on phones, as we do with a wiretap investigation. During the course of the investigation, Timothy Granison became apparent to us as being a player in this narcotics ring. And it was at that point that we followed the evidence. We believe this whole organization was a mid-level drug organization that was infecting the city of Rochester.
Police say they are trying to interview the mayor through her lawyers, and Dorley wouldn't comment on whether Warren could be implicated in the investigation or whether she was heard on the wiretaps. Live in Rochester, Kayla Green, News 8.
All right, Kayla, thank you. Granison pleaded not guilty in city court this morning. Allie Peters was in the courtroom for the arraignment. She joins us live with what happened inside. Allie?
Yeah, John, Granison attended his arraignment with video from the Monroe County Jail this morning. That's when he pleaded not guilty to drug and weapon charges. Now, we did see Granison leaving the jail just before noon this morning. Here's video of that. He had a shirt over his head and didn't take questions from reporters. Granison was released for his own because bail is not allowed on the charges he is facing. Those 3 felony charges include criminal possession of a controlled substance in the third degree, criminal possession of a controlled substance with intent to sell, third degree, and criminal possession of a firearm. Granison's attorney entered a not guilty plea for his client, and we spoke to him after how this investigation has been going on.
My understanding is that they executed a series of search warrants. There may have been other properties other than my client's home. Those search warrants would have needed to be signed by a judge and accompanied by supporting affidavits, which obviously would have taken time to compile.
All right, well, Granison is scheduled to return to court the day before the city's primary. Warren is up for re-election this year. City Council member Malik Evans is also vying for that seat. We caught up with Evans for reaction to the investigation. He says he is focusing on the facts.
I look forward to hearing more as this unfolds, but my thoughts are with the family, and we'll let the investigation, I think, take its place. Our campaign is focused on restoring trust and transparency in Rochester. That's what we're going to be focused on.
Once again, the Democratic primary will take place on June 22nd. So here's a breakdown on everything we know so far. Rochester Mayor Lovely Warren's home was searched by state police last night. That search resulted in the arrest of Warren's husband, Timothy Granison. Granison is one of 7 facing drug and weapon charges and connections to a mid-level narcotics ring in Rochester. He has pleaded not guilty. Warren has not been charged. This is an ongoing investigation.